This is the Zoom H6, so you get a nice big chunky, and it does come with a range of accessories. So we've got the pop shield for if you're out in the wind, the USB cable, and 2 capsules. We've got the XY capsule, so this has got a nice traditional sort of XY. It's also got 2 positions on there, if I can catch it in the right light. One at 90 degrees and one, if you rotate it, 120 degrees. That sort of does that with the microphones. So if you got a long shot, you could have a narrow stereo field. If you've got a wide shot or you're very close to a subject, you can make that a little bit wider, make your stereo sound wider. With the MS capsule here, that's got a similar sort of arrangement with a cardioid and a figure of 8 inside, so you can actually make the sound wider or narrower when you do the mix. And there's a particular video which we'll recommend for looking at that. And another capsule that is available separately, you can actually add XLRs to it. So if you slotted this one on, you could actually 6 XLRs on there. Okay, I'm going to go back to the normal XY and we'll have a closer look at this. So it's with the controls upwards, same way as the rest of the unit. It does have a little notch, so you can't put them the wrong way around anyway. So the volume control for the XY pair at the top will be here, and then you've got volume controls for the appropriate XLR inputs on the side. Okay, so closer look at this thing. We've got buttons on the side with the USB socket menu, and this is the select. On the other side, we have the volume for the headphones, not for the record levels. That's all there. And then the power switch. So let's switch this thing on. Very nice display when you switch this on. Very impressive if you're working with clients. So I've got the XY mic capsule fitted. Let's set this to 120 degrees, which I've got both of those set to 120 degrees, so it's a wide stereo. Okay, the normal stereo. On the switches here, as well as the volume controls, we've also got a pad switch. So if your signal is too loud, you can switch the pad in. And if you switch pad in, it gives you a 20 dB reduction in the signal level. If you want to feed in a line level, there is a socket on the side of the microphone module that we can put a line into with a 3.5mm mini jack. Okay, so let's have a look at the menu on this device. USB socket menu, and this is the select. And we've got a number of different things we can choose from here. You can use the control on the side to toggle through them. So you've got different folders. If you're doing a shoot, you can record to different folders for different takes or different scenes. If we come to the input-output section, we can select compressor or limiter. If we select Locut, we can get rid of any wind or traffic noise. We can say which track we want this on. So at the moment, I'm just going to put it on the left and right. You could put it on any of the tracks with the external mics. And if we select Locut on this track, we can then select what frequency that the Locut starts at. If you've got a lot of noise, then start at something pretty high. If you've only got a little bit of noise, you can back it off. So the higher the frequency you start cutting from, the more of the low frequencies you'll get rid of, but you may affect dialogue or any sounds you're trying to record. So just use it if you need to. If you don't need it, don't bother. To go back, we press the menu button. That takes us back one step. Okay, and then if I press that again, I'll get back to the next menu. Compressor limiter, you can put that on, and it has a number of different settings here. The general purpose or the vocal one is probably the most popular for what you'll need for media and for journalism. Okay, so we'll switch that one on. If you don't need it, the other options, you could do a limiter. Now this will leave the signal alone until you've got a problem, and then it will come in and just turn it down if you are too loud. That's probably worth having. It still doesn't beat controlling your volumes properly. The other thing you might need if you're using things other than the reporter's mic, if you're using shotgun mics, you may need to switch the phantom power on. So if we go to phantom on off, you can select which track. You won't need it on the internal mic, but you can select it on any of the XLR inputs, or you can put it on all. So I can put phantom power on all. Okay, and then back one step on the menu button. And the voltage, you can select between 12 volts or 24 or 48. If you select 48, I think most of our mics will work with that. If you got a mic that will work at a lower voltage, you will save yourself some battery power. And if you do use the mid side, there is a mid side matrix to actually you can choose which tracks you're using for that. Obviously it's going to be 1 and 2 because with the default module plugged in. Otherwise you can use 3 and 4 if you're going to use an external mid-side pair, but you'd need to know what you're doing for that. So that's the input selections. Let's come back on the menu and let's have a look at the next. So on the record settings, if we select record settings, record format is going to be important, and you can select between 44.1 or 48 kilohertz. For most of what you're doing with anything with a picture, go for 48 kilohertz, and 24 bits will give you more resolution, but it will use up more memory. But I'm going to select that one. And the system settings. Now this is probably the first place I would go when you're doing big shoots. Getting your time right is quite important. Battery type is also important. If you've got rechargeables, you select nickel metal hydride. If you've got alkaline, which I've got at the moment, we're just going to select alkaline. That will change the voltage that it will shut down at, so it will save your work nicely and you'll get the most out of your batteries. If we select this settings, we can format the card, so we can give it move that to yes, select yes, stand on one leg, count your nose and say fish, and then it's done. You can also test the card if you're not sure, and you can find information on it, how big it is, etc. Okay, so I'm going to press menu until I get back to my normal display. This will also tell me how much time I've been recording, how much time I've got left. So if you want the internal mics, the XY mics, we press that button and now we can see, we can control the level on the mics here, and you can see some level on the meter there. If you want any of these other channels, you can select which ones you operate. You can put them in pairs, we'll do that separately. If you've got something that is too loud, you notice these are flashing. So if I'm too loud, it will flash and tell me. So that means I need to turn down the internal mic there. I'll call it internal, it's plugged in. So the XY mic, okay. If I'm talking here, that would be reasonable sort of level. Okay, to record, just press the record button and away you go, you're recording. When you're finished, press the stop button. So it's good practice to turn off the record ready lights, and then you don't accidentally go over something else. Although it won't record over anything you've already recorded, it'll always start a new track. When you've run out of card space, it won't record anymore. It won't go over what you've already done. So that is the Zoom H6.